Hey, how you doing? I hope you're well. I'm Brooks. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, and if you've been here before, then welcome back. So today is going to be a chill day. It's going to be fun because I'm going to reminisce about my high school years. And this was requested because I asked on my story, I took a poll, do you want me to mix songs? Like make a mix and mash them up, kind of like how I did in high school, or would you like for me to just talk about the songs that shaped my high school experience? And I did get some people who said high school songs was like the main one, but I did have some people say both, and the gag is I'm gonna do both anyway. I'll just do the high school songs one first since that was most requested, but I will still be mixing songs because I have some different combinations in my head that I just want to try out, and let's see if it works out, you know, it'll be fun. I recorded this video so many times because I had this strange obsession with wanting to prove that I listened to really good music before y'all got put on. You know what I'm saying? Like, I listened to Anderson .Paak and Kaytranada and Mac Iries before y'all even knew who they were. But quite frankly, I don't have anything to prove to you guys. Nobody else wanted Ox. I knew that I had it. So I'm gonna paint a picture for you. I was walking down my high school hallway with my earbuds in. You know, when you have this world that you're in, you're trying to escape because this place you gotta be at 7:34 in the morning. Yes, that specifically, that was the time that I had to be at school, in my classes. I had my earbuds in and I was just somewhere else, like always somewhere else that was happier, that was brighter, that was sunnier, somewhere that we're having a good time, where it feels like a cookout, you know what I'm saying? And the music that I was always drawn to was because that's what I was raised on. Like, my family, we love to get together. We love to just have any excuse to get together. It's a weekend. Let's have a crab boil. And then people will come over. So-and-so got an A on a test. Like, let's get together and celebrate. Like, that's really how it is. And so being around family and the music that we would have going on, that always brought a feeling of just like celebration and warmth and community, you know what I'm saying? So I love music that reminds me of family reunions or family gatherings. Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, Earth, Wind and Fire, Maze Beverly, Gap Band. Let's see, you even got like my auntie, New Edition, she loves New Edition, Troop, yeah, all the different artists that would be branching off of those people. So that was always my base of the music that I listened to. But in middle school, I was a directioner. But once I got my Tumblr and I think I started to get more socially conscious, Mike Brown just got killed. So I felt more of an obligation to be more in tune with my Blackness. And so I was like, you know what, One Direction, they not out here on the streets and these front lines for me. I love them. I was a hairy girl, but they're not really checking for me the way that I need to feel seen right now. I need to feel represented, and that kind of shaped the way that I would listen to music. So I got into like the internet. These artists, they're always influenced by the ones that I grew up on. So when I hear, let's say, Anderson .Paak, he's so funky. I grew up on James Brown, and so hearing his music made me feel like, you know, connected to that part of myself. I think my first song that I ever heard from him was Might Be. He sampled the Jones Girls, Who Can I Run To? You heard it? You heard it? That's how I used to get onto older artists that my parents didn't necessarily put me onto. They would be the sample, and then I would go into that artist and be like, okay, so what other songs do you have? And they have Nights Over Egypt, which I used in a mix. So you have Anderson .Paak, and the song Might Be definitely was the one that put me onto him, but I also loved Am I Wrong? Okay, I'm not trying to get this video taken down because of copyright, but it's so good. So it wasn't always super Black music that I liked. I also really loved music that reminded me of the stuff that my dad would listen to. So my dad, he put me on to Kraftwerk, Scritti, Politti, Kenny Loggins, B-52s, these white bands, right? And my mom, she really likes yacht rock. So like Bobby Caldwell, Michael McDonald. I was always open-minded. Like I told you, I was a directioner. So I definitely was all into feeling like the Oreo. Oh, I'm Black on the outside, I'm white on the inside. Woe is me, I'm privileged. But I mean, there really is an identity crisis that happens with that. And I think that I've just talked about it so much that I kind of feel like I should be annoyed with myself, so then you're not like, oh my gosh, she still cares about, she's a suburban girl and she's an Oreo. But I mean, we can really unpack that sometime because it's a complex existence. So I listened to like Rex Orange County, Loving Is Easy. Just like the real symphony, like orchestral sound. I've had amazing opportunities to actually go to symphonies and hear orchestras play, and it always makes me want to cry because it's just so beautiful. That same sound, broad strings and all of that, you can hear that in Two Seater by Tyler the Creator. Thank you so much for releasing the instrumentals of Cherry Bomb, bro. We get transported into this like fancy Victorian dinner and we're all like in big ball gowns, like we're in a Barbie movie. And I got put on to Tyler the Creator by a friend of mine. He put me on to the song that he had with Charlie Wilson. And I was like, Tyler the Creator? I know him because he made really dark stuff like in middle school, and that whole acronym, I'm not going to disrespect the fans of him, but I don't know the acronym by heart. That whole era that he had was really dark, and I'm telling y'all, like, I grew up in church. My parents are care pastors. They've always been super involved in the church, and I just was sheltered. Like, I didn't really understand stuff like that, and I didn't really want to get behind it, but there was something intriguing about it, I will say. It was so strange and was so dark that it was intriguing, but I didn't really get too close. And then for my friend to be like, oh, you need to listen to this Tyler the Creator song. And I'm just like, bro, I'm not into his type of stuff. Like, and he was like, no, for real. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, is that Charlie Wilson? Like Charlie Wilson from the Gap Band? For him to have Charlie Wilson on a song, you have to understand the value that he has in the Black community. Charlie Wilson has easily one of the best voices ever. Him and Stevie Wonder, both, their voices don't age. Voices that are so distinct to them. I was like, that's a nuance. Like, Tyler hit a nuance. The chords, the way that it opened up, it sounded like a sunflower field. And then I went and I watched the video, and I'm like, this man is really on like some happy stuff now. Like, he's really bright and so creative. And I just resonated with him because I could tell he had a lot of different influences on his stuff, and I didn't really see Black boys being that sensitive and that soft and that vulnerable, even though he has like an edge to him that is very like testosterone filled and masculine. He also is just very like sunflower fields. See how Rex Orange County and Tyler the Creator, they always had that similar vibe, but then they end up working together when Flower Boy came out, and that album defined my high school experience, my senior year. I want to talk about another defining artist of my high school career, which was Childish Gambino. So the same way that I talked about I could resonate with Tyler because I could understand he had this Oreo thing about him too, same thing with Childish Gambino. Very world building, very aspirational, very hyper in their head. Like, I can tell that their thoughts be hectic because they're just so creative. He made a movie for Because of the Internet, like wrote a screenplay. If I had to pick a favorite song off of Because of the Internet, it's Shadows for sure. The Wake of My Love came out during my senior year. So you have these two categories, and I'm going to break them down. The difference between groovy and funky. Groovy is like Quadron. I swear that my favorite song in general, I made a decision that it was LFT by Quadron. So that is groovy. Another example of a groovy song. Mac Miller and Anderson .Paak's Dang. I honestly didn't really listen to Mac Miller until he put out Divine Feminine. I was like, this is a groovy white boy. Like, now I'm going to show you an example of funky. On Awaken My Love, Terrified. There's a bottom to the top of a moment. You can't help but do a stank face. You know, with groovy music, you just want to smile. Groovy, I got the roots of that from Earth, Wind & Fire because their stuff is groovy. And speaking of Earth, Wind & Fire, I found a song of theirs that I never heard of before because of SoundCloud. It's called Brazilian Rhyme. So SoundCloud was transformative to my music taste. I would not be where I am today without SoundCloud. And I actually used that and Apple Music before I ever started using Spotify, but SoundCloud was superior because the music that I would find on Apple Music was usually had somebody behind it, usually was some type of label, it usually was someone who was established or was able to be on playlists. But SoundCloud is a special place because you'll find people who just love music. They decided to experiment. And so I listened to this mix that was all Stevie Wonder songs and it made it sound like one seamless record. It was crazy. It's by DJ Rumor and I will have it linked in the bio because I never heard nothing like that in my life. It was so seamless and the transitions were crazy. And that was the blueprint of an excellent mix for me. Like I found a Mr. Rogers remix that somebody made that was so good. And I'm just like, this is the spirit of SoundCloud. The fact that you would take a Mr. Rogers song and flip it and make it dope, add a beat behind it. Like that is exactly what SoundCloud is in a nutshell. It is just straight up expression. Like you'll find music that like is called like Peanut Head or like, I don't know, you'll find music that's called like Graham Cracker and it just be fire. Like the names of the songs don't really have anything to do with the actual thing. But then once you listen, you're like, okay, I feel that. This is kind of like giving me like Brown Paper Bag, you know? Oh, Torre Imoa, I got into him. And he was one of them artists that like, oh yeah, I listen to Torre Imoa, like, I'm cool, you know what I'm saying? Mirage is definitely his hottest song, but I think I like No Show. Yeah. That kind of reminded me of the rock music that my dad used to listen to all the time in the car. Of course, I listened to SZA, who didn't. I started to get more into A Tribe Called Quest and MF Doom and J Dilla. Beats are really good, kind of like interludes in the middle of a mix, so I would listen to theirs. What's the song? By Q-Tip. Dun, 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 dun. Let's Ride. Definitely groovy. Speaking of groovy, I really liked Steve Lacy. I heard about him on SoundCloud. See You Girl was the first song that I heard of his. Some was my second favorite. Baby, I want some of your. And of course Solange, like I feel like she's a no-brainer. I was obsessed with Solange in high school and that carried me into college, and then I kind of like tipped off because I realized that it's kind of strange to be so obsessive about another human being. Personally, for me, I have some thoughts that I've already posted on Instagram about that. I made a video about how far we can take admiration for other people. I definitely still love her music and she changed my life when I saw the Losing You video. I had to get to a place where I was like, I can't be obsessing over Solange like this, but I love to sit at the table. I even use it in a presentation for my AP Lit class. Another person on SoundCloud that I love was Ravyn Lenae. I heard Free Room for the first time.
Your eyes, you think you shake your thighs in a room full of fallen hope and take disguise.
Yeah, she's fire. And I gotta wrap this up. This is becoming a very long video. I was like, I don't have nothing to talk about, but I am talking about music. Of course, it's gonna be a billion years long. I'm listening to Noname's Telephone, right? And I start getting inspiration for how I want my senior pictures to look. And so I work with my friend Nick and I want it to be timeless classic. So I had my hair out, I had baby breath in my hair like Minnie Riperton, and I took my pictures at the beach and just had a bunch of different looks and wanted it to be shot on digital and on film. Yeah, and the whole shoot was inspired by Diddy Bop and All I Need by Noname. So I'll play Diddy Bop first. And then All I Need. Then the internet got me interested into Carrie Foe because I heard Low Key for the first time. No, but I was hip to her off of SoundCloud because she has a song called Ken Griffey. It's Cold by Janelle Monae. This video can go on forever because Blonde came out during this time. The Kawaii EP, Calvin Harris's album where he had all them crazy features, Soul Bounce, Wave, Funk, I don't know, Volume 1 came out. Black Party, I was listening to him too. Ari Lennox, Backseat. Let me actually check my SoundCloud and see who else I was listening to at the time. I mean, Masego, Goldlink, Fall in Love with Cicero. Joyce Rice. Good times. Like, okay, Is It Good by Hush Hush and Kiyoshi. That song reminds me of a sunny day and you got the chalk out and you're with your little cousins playing hopscotch. Like, I just really like that song. This song, Internet Moms, that is my jammy jam.
What a day! I tapped into the power.
Tell me about it.
There I was, an ordinary mom. Then I slid into my computer chair, and with a few clicks of my mouse, I became a mom on the net.
This song is the epitome of what SoundCloud is, why it's the bomb. I feel like I'm doing an ad for them, but I just really appreciate how much that streaming service transformed my whole sense of like music taste. It's just like, and it just gets to the straight. Do you love music? Do you appreciate when it's done well, when it's made right, when you can feel the enjoyment that the person behind it had while making it? That is what I care about. And in the same way that really good songs like Stevie Wonder's Do I Do, at the end of it, they just play out. Like, they just keep jamming because you can tell that there was so much joy in that room. Like, that feeling is the reason why I love music from that era and music that reminds me of that era. People, they miss that. Oh, I want to be famous. Oh, I want to have clout. I want to be talking about clothes, hoes, money, cars, and murder. And it's just like, dude, are you even enjoying yourself? You're slowly killing yourself. That was another reason why I kind of had this transition. And y'all know I talk about my relationship with God all the time. And that's why I really haven't been listening to music like this in such a long time, because there are lyrics and subject matter that I don't really align to anymore and it doesn't resonate with me. But that doesn't change the fact that it's still really great music. Like, it's sonically gorgeous and there's a lot to it and there's artistry in it. But I also understand that it's very important to not only make that the thing that you primarily consume. You have to have a balance between music that feeds your soul and music that you just vibe to. And sometimes those can come together. And that's why I made a playlist on Spotify called Selah. And it has like it almost has like 1,200 people who've liked it or added it to their libraries. And I'll add that in the description box as well, so you guys can have that. Yeah, high school was a time. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll have story time about that time in my life. But like I said before, it's so fun to go back and reminisce, but also to learn from the effects of allowing that to be like the only thing that you meditate on. Like, it's damaging to your soul. So I understand that I have different people watching this and you're gonna come here for different things. And please put below, like, if there's any songs that you picked up on that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that anybody knew this song, or any songs that I put you on to that you love now, or just what you were listening into high school, and if we have the same type of vibe. And yeah, next video, I definitely want to make one of me mixing. Hope that you stay well, stay sanitized, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.